The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." The Gospel of the Lord. After my first year in seminary, I had the opportunity to participate in a program in Omaha, Nebraska, called the Institute for Priestly Formation. And at the beginning of this program, I, for the first time, did an 8-day retreat, which was really daunting for me because I like to speak. So 8 days of silence. But it was incredible because during those 8 days I became very well aware, as many do during these experiences, that I'm not the protagonist of my life. That in fact there's another who's guiding me. There's another who's present in my life, who takes hold of my life in such a way, with such tenderness, with such love, that I can truly live. And I remember one of the greatest takeaways of this retreat was this constant refrain: the Lord inviting me into his rest. Now, the thing that surprised me about this was that even though he was inviting me into his rest, it didn't spare me from life. And so the deeper I got into that invitation, the more I responded to that call, the more I was able to look at my life, to speak with my spiritual director about the things that were happening in my life, perhaps even things that were difficult. The Lord's invitation to us today to enter into his rest doesn't spare us from life. It doesn't spare us from the burdens of life, but instead it helps us to confront life with him by our side, to carry these burdens with him, which changes everything. It changes everything. Jesus didn't come to solve all of our problems, to take our problems away from us, to give us a comfortable life. He came to be with us. He came to be with us, to enter into a relationship with us, so that we could confront these problems and these challenges with him. He came to carry the burden with us, not to spare us from the burden. "Come to me," he says, "all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me." Not only does Jesus not spare us from these burdens, but in fact he invites us to take his yoke upon ourselves. He wants us to be yoked to him. And he says, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light." With Christ, the burdens of life are truly light. They're light because we know that he's with us, carrying them by our side each and every day. We know that he's helping us to confront these things, to confront the challenges that we face, the difficulties that we face in life, inevitably, just simply by living. We all face these. But to face them in such a way that we're able to recognize his presence there, that we're able to find meaning even in the most difficult of circumstances. We can't escape from life as Christians. And it's striking to me that in our first reading, God reveals himself as I am, which, not to get too philosophical, is the central question of philosophy. For thousands of years, this question of being, I am, has been at the forefront of many thinkers and many ideas and thoughts about life and what this means. God reveals himself as being, as the one through whom we have life. As St. Paul says, in him we live and breathe and have our being. And so to enter into a relationship with him means to enter into a relationship with life, with all that life throws our way, and to find him there, to find him in the midst of our life, draw close to him, to take his yoke upon us, because his yoke is truly easy and his burden is light. Today, let us respond to that invitation, this tender invitation of Christ, to enter into the details of our life with him, into the burdens of our life with him, yoked to him, knowing that he's by our side, knowing that he desires to journey with us, to carry this burden with us, so that we can experience the fullness of life for which he came.